I'm here with Brian McCormack at Greenall Racing, who are celebrating 40 years of road racing here at the Manx Grand Prix. So it's 100 years of Manx Grand Prix and 140 years of Greenall on the road. So Brian is here joining the team. How does it feel for you to be back here with the team, of course, and obviously for the 100 years?
Yeah, like last year was my first year with these guys, and it was brilliant. It was the best atmosphere I've actually raced in. You know, it was really good crack. The bikes were amazing, and there's really good history with some of the bikes as well. So it was a privilege to get asked to come back again this year. So 40 years. They've actually, the bike that I'm on, they had from new in 96, 97, and this has a bit of history with it. So it was a privilege to be asked to ride it.
Awesome. And tell us a bit about that bike.
Yeah, it's a 1996 Kawasaki, but it was Simon Beck who rode it back in the day as well, and he won the Ulster Grand Prix on it, and I think he finished fourth here on it as well in the TT. So there's a lot. I'm afraid to bend it or break it or do anything to it. So yeah, no, it's a lot of history with that, and a lot of history with the team. They've been through a lot of seriously good riders over the years. So I said it's a privilege.
It's a privilege for them to have you, obviously.
I hope so. Of course.
So you've got a bit of experience around this mountain course as well, but you can never be grateful enough, can you, for the more laps that you can do around this course, not only for fun but also for knowledge.
Yeah, definitely, for both. Yeah, exactly. I learn something every time, even, and this is my 10th year coming to the TT, and I still learned a lot this year. And this year, going out on these bikes as well, it's different, so you get to see different parts of the track. It's a little bit slower than what we're used to on the suit bikes, so you're learning every time you go around here. And I'd say the likes of John McGuinness and the boys, they'll tell you the same thing, you know, you still learn. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's especially 100 years is really, it's amazing, you know. I look back at a bit of the history and how it started and stuff, so it's impressive, and it's hopefully we'll get to do it for many more years.
And one of the biggest challenges on this beautiful rock is the weather, of course. So tonight, unfortunately, qualifying isn't happening. What do you do with that time? It's disappointing, obviously, but it's a great time for you to regroup, I guess, but it's frustrating.
I don't know. I was going to ask you what to do. It's I'm fairly bored sitting in the van all day, and I can't really do much for these guys. They do everything, so I'm just sitting around watching, to be fair. So I'm just putting on weight, sitting, drinking tea and eating chocolate. But yeah, look, it's so much to do around here anyway. I get out my mountain bike and try and do a bit as well, but the weather isn't, the wind isn't really pleasant up there on a mountain bike and in the mountains. So just chilling out, enjoying it, enjoying a few days off work, and see motorbikes and go around chatting to people that we don't see like only a couple of times a year. So it's that's about it, really.
Great. And you've just been guiding me through this, so I just want to share it with you guys as well. So this is, of course, the celebration of 40 years of the team Ian on the roads. Tell us a bit about who we've got in here.
There's lots. I don't know many of these people. Like, obviously, you know some of the people. Horsiger. There's Jim Hodgson actually is here. Rob is riding for him. He rode for him before as well. I'm here as well. I'm here. I'm trying to break the bike, but there's so many people on this. I don't know half of them to see it in pictures, but I know the names. You know, there's some.
Of course.
Yeah, you have Dean. You have Dino. You have Derek Shields. You know. We have Nathan Harrison, who finished second last year on the bike, and Rob won last year. So like it's for the history, and they're proving their point how good they are as well. So it's great to be riding for them.
And having those kind of teammates and previous teammates, you tap into them for knowledge or encouragement in any way?
Some of them are still very tight-lipped, and most of them are still racing, so they don't want to share their secrets. But I know we get on very well. Myself and Derek have been racing together for a long, long time, so maybe a little bit too long. And Rob as well. We've been around a long time, so there's little bits and pieces we learn off each other, but we all want to beat each other the same. So it's still very competitive. But yeah, it's good fun atmosphere.
Mega. Well, listen, all the best. Have a great one. Here's for great weather tomorrow for the rest of the week. If you join us in doing a two-wheeling?
Two-wheeling? Sorry.
Thank you. I'm lucky enough to be sat here with Mr. Dave Madsen Migdal, who's quite a legend around this mountain course, with the most amount of TT wins in history. Starts and finishes. Thank you for correcting me. And rider liaison as well, and of course racing here at the Manx Grand Prix. So Dave, thanks for sitting with us. It's a pleasure to get some time with you, because I know you're extremely busy man.
Really busy.
So tell me, I'd like to touch on the rider liaison first of all, if you don't mind. So what a privilege, really, I suppose, but a huge taking, really, to take on and help these guys get ready for the Manx Grand Prix.
Well, the thing is, we do the courses when the lads come over, the newcomers, and it's a bit of a recognition and all that. But I always have looked after the newcomers, a lot of the Irish lads when they come over, and it's part of it. You just enjoy it anyway. So you enjoy helping people, and if they do well, it's even better.
Yeah, and keeping them safe by offering your knowledge.
Well, that's the main idea of the job, just to steady them up and just to make it easier for them. Because when I started, there was nothing like that. You just had to learn it by yourself. But now with our health and safety in it, but it's a lot better by doing that way. So it's well worth the effort.
Great. And tell me, over the years that you've raced here, so coming from a classics perspective for our channel, all the different bikes that you've been lucky enough to ride, is there any particular one that stands out that you've really, really enjoyed taking around this mountain course?
Well, we're just working on now. We've got the RC 3750. I've had that since '90, and I've had some good rides in a senior TT on that, top 12. In the 400 we've had top 4th, 5ths, and then one year we were leading the race, and I was 6 seconds in front and the engine blew up. The mechanic in the pit stop, he should have put oil in, but he didn't think he had time, so he didn't put the oil in and it starved itself and it did a big end. So that was a disappointing thing. Then the next time we were out on the 400 and we were hoping to do well, it wouldn't start on the start line. And Martin Finnegan's bike wouldn't start either, so we both never started the race that year. So I've never really got, and then they stopped the 400s and the 250s at the TT, so it never really got used. It got used down to the southern and the northwest. Won the northwest one year, come second to John McGuinness the following year. But since then it's been in the garage for the last 13 years. So, no, the last 10 years it's been in the garage, it hasn't been used. So we decided this time, instead of running a 250, we'd run the 400 again. So we're just finishing that, and that's what the pitch, they were just doing the decals on the side just to make it look clean and tidy. So that's been rebuilt, and hopefully, I'd like to think I'd go as quick as I did when I rode it back then. But we shall have to wait and see. It's just been a lot of work. Everything's gone against us. We had one engine turn up, and it was supposed to be good to go. We went to Castle Combe 2 weeks ago, and that blew up. Then we've come back again, another engine turned up, supposed to have been brand new, all rebuilt, and I stripped it just to make sure because it had been stood, and it wasn't as good as what I was told it was. So now we've got this one, so we're going up to Derby tomorrow, and hopefully it'll be good. If not, it'll be back to the drawing board again. But that's the one I'm looking forward to riding most, because there's a lot of 400s out there. Other lads riding the 400s as well. 500 Twin, the Honda, the classic. It's good to get into the top 7, and it's reliable and it should finish. So if there's a top boy start breaking down, we go up the lead, to the leading board. So that should be a good bike as well. And the RC I've had that now 23 years, no 33 years. And
wow.
That knows its own way around here. But, hopefully we just enjoy it.
I guess that from a reliability perspective, that's one of the biggest challenges you're coming up against. It must be so joyous to jump on, finally have the bike ready, get on that mountain course, and then just hope and pray that everything lasts for you and support you all the way around to finish.
Well, that's a lot of it. I think I enjoy prepping the bikes anyway. We don't work on a big budget. We do all the work ourselves and all the engines and all that. So it is quite satisfying to actually finish. So I'm not, as long as I'm happy with my speeds and I'm not getting any slower, I'm happy with what I do. But it's age does sort of like come up to it as well. You get a little bit more sensible. So, no, we'll just see.
And Manx Grand Prix then, it's crazy that we're here at 100 years, isn't it? And really phenomenal and special to be a part of it. How important is it for the riders to be a part of a Manx Grand Prix if they want to progress on the roads?
I think it is unique anyway. It's not every time. A short circuit is a short circuit. You need a large budget and everything else like that, especially if you want to do BSB. Same if you want to come to TT, your budget is that much bigger.
Yeah.
And you need a stepping stone. And the Manx is a good stepping stone. The other lads have done the roads, or most of them have done roads, so they've got the experience and everything. And they've usually done some couple of Irish meters, and they've just got the taste for it. So it's a stepping stone to go to the Manx, from the Manx first, then to the TT. And they realise if they're fairly good, they'll enjoy it. If they've got the budget, it's worth going on to the TT if you're up to that standard. But you need to find that budget to actually get up. There is a big difference. It's okay being a club rider, but to go national level, then if you want to go for national meetings, you want to go to BSB, you got to be really good, and the budget to go with it.
Mm-hmm. And over the years that you've been here and you've raced here and all of your achievements, is there anything in particular that stands out? Any particular race or finish?
We had a couple. I won on that 400. I was leading and went out on the last lap. That was disappointing, but I don't know whose phone's that. But that was disappointing. But we did have a funny story about the Manx. We used to race. We used to race for Jerry O'Sullivan over in Ireland, and the two bikes used to turn up. And I used to race. The Ulster Grand Prix used to be on a weekend before or the same time as the practice started. But the bikes were so. They needed a little bit of work done before I could actually ride them, so of course we'd work on them. But anyway, the two bikes turned up, and the lads were out drinking. And this one lad that owns a bike shop in Drogheda said, if Dave gets on the podium, I'll give him 1,500 quid. And basically he thought he was safe. You know what I mean? That's why he gave her the 1,500 quid. So he said, if he gets on the podium, and those races, I'll give him 1,500 quid. So anyway, we worked all night on the 500 and had trouble all week. Gets to the race, and if I'd have realised, I thought there was a 20-second gap, but it was only a 10-second gap. But I came second anyway, so I was on the podium. So Jerry come running up. He said, "Oh, great, fantastic." He said, "And you got a bonus." He said that you got yourself £1,500 because you got on the podium. Oh, I said, "Great." So that was that, and then we had to go work back on the 350, and we'd had problems with that one. And in theory, neither bike should have finished. We cobbled the bike together, and it wasn't, it weren't brand new. But anyway, we ended up being third, so we were back on the podium again. So we go on the podium, and Jerry comes back. He said, "Oh, great, we've got third. That's fantastic." And he said that'd be another 1,500 quid. So I said, "Great, that's £3,000 I've earned this week." And Chris Kinley was interviewing us, and I said, I'd just like to thank Kennedy Motorcycles from Drogheda for my bonus. And but anyway, it was treated as a bit of a joke. And then we saw him down the pub that night. He said, "Dave," he said, "I'm a bit financially embarrassed at the moment. He said, I'm going on holiday next week, but I'll send you a cheque." I said, "Oh, thanks very much." So I thought it might be 3,000 euros. But anyway, following week, £3,000 turned up cheque. And but he's a bit of a poker player. But he thought he was on a safe bet, and of course he thought he was being smart. But it cost him £3,000 for being smart. But
I bet you put it back into the bike, though, did you?
Well, part of it went on a holiday for the lads. We went to Spain, and the rest went on a new bathroom, which is still not finished. But, no, we wrote a lot of stories.
Love it. I could speak to you for hours. I think we need to get more of that on tape. But listen, Dave, thank you so much for your time. I'm going to let you get back to the boys. I know you've got probably a busy night ahead of you. Have a great Grand Prix, and thank you so much.
Oh, thanks very much.
Tí Whelan.